Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Video Entrepreneurs. This is episode 9. Lindsay is in the hot seat today, and we are going to talk about live streaming, a little bit about why live streaming might be beneficial to you and your audience, as well as some of the technical aspects of how to do that so that you guys can interact kind of like we're doing right here. I'm watching you guys in the chat, Tractor Mike and Kitten and Tom Replay and Anthony and all you guys, the Mac guy. It's good to have you guys hanging out with us, so hopefully this will be helpful for you guys and those of you who are watching the replay of this later. In case this is your first time here, what Video Entrepreneurs is a place where us, as a few full-time YouTubers, just discuss some of the things that are going on in the business side of our channel and the audience development that we're doing on YouTube. And we just talk about like the issues, the roadblocks, the questions we have, hopefully in a way that helps you guys as creators know how you can develop your own audience and the business around your own YouTube channel as well. So that's our goal here. We're going to get right into hearing Lindsay's update from the last time she was in the hot seat and hearing a little bit about her progress since then. But before we do that, I want to thank this week's sponsor of Video Entrepreneurs, and it is Audio Blocks. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Audio Blocks, you'll find a link to them in the description of this video right here on YouTube. And one of the things I love about them, guys, is that it's different than a lot of royalty-free audio music sites out there. I mean, you do get the music, you get the sound effects, you get the loops, but what's different is that once you subscribe and you download the track, that track is yours to keep forever, and you can use it in as many projects as you would like on an ongoing basis. Whereas some of the other sites I use, you pay to use a track one time in one project in one work, and that's it. And after that, you can't really use it anymore. So this site's great. Again, use the link down there. They have a special promo deal where you can get like the whole entire year, an annual subscription for only $99. It's usually like $79 for a month. So this is a really good deal they're doing for you guys. Use that link down there to get that deal. But you can go through, you can just browse the different music genres you want, different sound effects, different loops if that's what you want. And then if you're into something like playful, silly, you can go through and just skim through the ones that you want. They got a lot of different filtering options, tempo, duration, and there's a lot of different ways that you can just filter through what you want and find the exact track that works for your music. So it is, it's a great tool. It's one that I use for most of the music on my videos. So I highly recommend it. If you run into any content ID stuff on YouTube, it's usually resolved within, in my experience, within 24 to 48 hours. That has nothing to do with Audio Blocks. That's all on the different composer, that the stuff that they set up for how their music performs or is tracked on YouTube. But 100% of the time, every case I've ever had anything flagged, I just go through the appeal process on YouTube, send them the link to my license, and within a day or so it's removed. So not a big deal for me anyway, for the price that I pay and the value that I get from these guys. So again, check out the link in the description below to learn more about them, and I'm sure that will be helpful and valuable for you guys as you guys are making your videos and looking for music for them. What I would love for you guys to do here is you can tweet me at Tim Schmoyer, and I'll be featuring your tweets right up here on the screen. Any comments, not really questions, but things that you guys have to share that will be helpful and valuable for other people to see your opinions and comments. You can tweet me, and I'll be putting them up here. But for now, hello, Lindsay. How are you doing?
Great. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
It's good to be talking about you all. Hi, Amy.
Hey,
okay,
how's
good.
it going?
We forgot to do a mic check, so good, we're working. This is one of the downsides of live streaming. Sometimes I just hit the button, I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to make sure everyone's mic was working. So, Lindsay, why don't you give us an update on just briefly what you were working on last time you were in the hot seat, where you're at with it now, and then ask your question for how we can help you here today.
Sure. So last time I was in the hot seat, we talked about kind of the view to subscriber to view ratio with how-to channels. I have a lot of subscribers, but like the views on any given video, most of my videos struggle to reach 10,000, even though I have over 200,000 subscribers. But I do have a variety of topics from, watercolor painting, oil painting, scrapbooking, card making. So I understand that it's kind of like, somebody would subscribe for one thing and not the other. One of the tips that you guys gave me to help increase more newbies to become subscribers was to change my subscriber button, my little branding button.
Yeah.
And I did that. I used a nice bright red kind of play button and just put subscribe here. And I went back and looked in my analytics this morning, and I used to average about 300 subscribers a day, and it's up to about 350 a day since the last time I was in the hot seat. So that changed. My views have not gone up, but I apologize. I didn't turn the ringer off on my phone. I'm going to ignore it though.
It's live. That's how things go.
Yay. So my views haven't gone up, but as Clint just mentioned earlier, his school's on spring break. My school's on spring break a couple of weeks ago. My views drop anytime there's a school vacation because my audience is generally adult women. So of course, when their kids are home, they're much more involved and they have less time to watch YouTube. So views usually pick up kind of a little bit later in the spring, and we'll see if that happens. But subs are up. I don't know how much to focus on that. As I mentioned, views didn't go up, but I think that there's cause and effect with spring break there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's good. That's all working well then. Sounds like.
Yeah. It achieved the result that we were hoping for, more subscribers. I would like to see more viewers more than more subscribers, because subscribers is just kind of like a vanity number. It's nice to be all getting served and notified, hopefully, when I publish something, but ultimately the subscribers don't really matter as much as views do. But interesting experiment. That's one thing I never even thought about, making my little branding button a little bit more substantial.
Great. Cool. So how can we help you this week?
Well, I'm really getting excited about live streaming, and I've been doing a weekly live painting show since October, and I've been noticing way more engagement, way longer watch time, like watch duration during those shows. And it's really exciting, and it's fun, and it's like kind of being a new YouTuber again when everything's exciting. So I'd really like to do more of that, but I don't want it to be a self-indulgent type of endeavor. I want it to be something that's worthwhile to my community. So I have some technical questions, and I've also just got some, questions about, running the live streams to make them the most valuable as they can be for my viewers, and also kind of keep it fun and enjoyable for me as well. So sweet.
So you have been live streaming already, you said, for every week. Is that right?
Every week. I didn't on Christmas week. Christmas was on a Friday, and I do my live Fridays. I call it live show on Fridays. And I didn't do one during the last kids' vacation because it's just they all want to be on their devices, and it's too much to handle all at once. But I've been noticing lots of interaction. They usually, after the string goes off, I'll have like 1,000 comments because they count all those little chat comments. But one thing I've noticed is that when I have my event and I schedule it to go unlisted so I can wait for it to process before publishing it, like Clintus had recommended, I noticed that I don't see that comment number on the watch page and in my video manager. So I'm just wondering, am I still getting credit from YouTube? Should I do it that way, or should I just let it go live after I'm done?
When you go from unlisted to public, do those comments eventually show up?
I know they haven't, not in the one, because I just did that for the first time a week and a half ago, and they haven't shown up yet.
So for these live streams, what usually happens is, and even the ones on my family channel, I don't have any hard stats about this. It's just what I've observed, is that it seems like it takes it a few days for this chat to show up as comments. I don't know if that's just me or I'm but
no, it does take a few days, but usually by Monday I'll have I'll have that tally for comments on the watch page and in my video manager. I can see it in analytics, but I don't see it in the video manager or on the watch page. And that was like a week and a half ago for the first time I set it to go unlisted, and they still haven't shown up. So I'm thinking that maybe you just lose that. And if it's just losing the vanity number, I don't care. But if it's losing
Yeah.
the actual engagement number as far as YouTube serving ads and promoting the channel, then I definitely want, I don't want that. I want, the behind the scenes numbers to be there, the numbers that YouTube uses.
Right.
Does anybody know about that?
I don't.
They may have changed something, because I'm going back right now looking at some other recorded streams from another channel, someone that I know streams on a daily basis, and I'm not seeing the comments, the 1,000 comments.
The chat comments?
I'm not seeing the chat comments.
So everyone in the chat here, don't even bother. No, I'm kidding. I'm watching it. I'm watching you guys right
Please
now.
hold your comments for
Melody says my live
Thank
comments
you.
never show up. Aw, poor Melody.
Interesting.
Yeah, they never show, you can never read them unless you keep the page open. Then you can see like the last 50 after you get done your stream. But the number, I was talking more about the number showing up
Right.
instead of like the actual comments.
I would love to hear from you guys, if you don't mind, real quick. Sorry, Lindsay. I know when you guys live stream, real quick, and I mean like literally quick, like 30 seconds, what are some of the benefits and the value of live streaming for you guys? Let's start with there, and then let's jump in all the Amy's stuff. Constance, I know you are like the king of live streaming out of the 5 of us here. Evans doesn't have access to Wi-Fi right now, for those of you guys who are asking. But Constance, you just tell us real quick, just like the value and benefit of live streaming.
So yeah. I mean, I've loved live since I think Ustream and Justin TV were the first 2 to kind of show up years and years ago. And now we have a different flavor of live. Your Periscope and even Facebook, like lives everywhere. I love the live interaction. So the things that I love about YouTube, and the reason why I started doing YouTube almost 10 years ago, was the instant gratification of, I post a video, it gets a view count when someone watches it, so I know someone watched it. I get a comment, I get a star. Back in the day, YouTube had stars instead of thumbs up and thumbs down.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, it was that kind of like, I try to become a filmmaker. I sent out 50 to 100 DVDs and have no idea if someone watched my movie, if someone watched my movie trailer. With YouTube, I was able to get that instant gratification. Well, with live, it's one more step up. With like right now, I have X amount of people watching this live stream, and comments are flying in. I live stream Monday through Friday on a gaming channel. So I have another channel, and I stream gaming content. And for me, it's like being on a stage with an audience. And I'm sitting there, and I'm quote unquote entertaining. I'm doing my thing, and I have this chat that's kind of flying by, and I can see the view count go up or down, and it's that sense of this is happening right now, and it's almost a sense of pressure that I enjoy, that I like, that I have to be kind of like on the spot with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
I like it. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I like it because I don't have to edit videos. I do it and then I'm done. So the editing's way faster, unless of course there's a glitch. Then I go back in the YouTube editor and cut that part out. And then, which is every show so far. And then 2, I like the interaction. There's more like live feedback. Is way different than YouTube comments. Like I can actually have like more of a conversation with people. And 3rd is algorithmically, it's just like the YouTube algorithm loves all the watch time that this video is getting right now, so a lot of good stuff there. So anyway, some good things to consider why live streaming. But go ahead, Lindsay. We want to spend most of our time on your questions, so we'll knock that out first.
Yeah, I have the same reasons for enjoying live streaming as well, and I love being able to respond to questions as I'm painting. If somebody says, "What's that color? How'd you get that mix? How'd you apply that paint? How are you holding your brush?" Those things that, people will type those comments in, and I found it difficult to go back and answer all my comments. And I have been making more of an effort since the last time we got together. When I was in the hot seat to try to get to all the questions, but I just end up neglecting all my other social media outlets when I'm trying to get to all those questions.
Right.
So as live, I can at least meet the needs of the people that show up live and give them, that chance to ask. So, so that's another reason I really like it, but for all the other reasons you guys mentioned. But I do have some questions because I want to make sure that people will watch it. I want the content to be evergreen. That's why I'm not doing Periscope or any of the other the other platforms out there. So like the Friday show has been watercolor because people voted, put a poll up, and it's been overwhelmingly watercolor, but there's been a lot of other people asking for like pastel and oil painting and acrylics. So I thought I'd introduce another show, but do it a little differently because I have a friend that comes and helps me on Fridays, and she asks me the questions out loud while I'm painting, because I won't be able to like watch the chat and do everything at once. So I want to kind of more way to do it solo. So I'm wondering if I did something where I kind of had people come in live and talk to them at the intro, then got into my presentation and then asked for questions at the end, if that might actually make people watch longer and kind of stick around to ask questions, or if maybe people would get bored if I wasn't interacting with them the entire time, if they were just interacting with each other. So I guess I'd like some opinions on that, and what you guys think about that sort of format.
I mean, and I'm probably the least experienced with YouTube Live. I've definitely the only times I've ever done it was really a hangout on air, to be honest. I've never used
This is a great way, actually.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it when I've done it. It's certainly something I'm considering more of. But from my experience with really any live stream I've done within the last year, I definitely am team have content before you get started, because I think the Q&A is awesome and I think people really want that, but at the same time it sort of just feels like it's all over the place when the creator doesn't give direction, and I think that content is what that allows you to do, is give some direction, and it actually makes the questions probably a little bit more focused and better overall, because you kind of set the tone with whatever sort of like subtopic you're going with, for maybe, you know, if it's like you're sharing a certain kind of artwork or whatever practice it is, and then the questions tend to be geared around that, so the whole thing is pretty relevant to each other rather than just questions all over the place. This could be about anything, like just more quality of the watch time in terms of like, oh, I'm definitely interested in this topic, I'm going to watch the whole thing to hear what her thoughts are on this. So I don't know, that's my initial reaction to your question.
You'd keep it in then, you'd keep the Q&A.
Oh, for sure. Relevant, honestly, because when you can go back to all your comments and answer, they love that. But when you actually answer and you're on camera, I mean, like, that's incredible. I mean, that's why we get so many questions even in this stream. We're trying to stick with our content. There's only so much we can handle in a short amount of time. Right. But when you can focus on those questions, I mean, that's huge. But at the same time, any stream I've ever seen where somebody's like, this is going to be an ask me ever anything, it just seems like you really got to warm the audience up with something in order for even that part of it to be effective. And
I totally agree with Amy. I've only dabbled in live streaming myself, but I've attended other live streams, and I kind of have the same feeling that as long as the topic is focused to begin with, it's less rambling and free form. I'll stay and watch it a lot more.
Well, that's interesting, because I didn't know, I thought maybe if somebody saw like an hour-long painting tutorial, you know, maybe they'd be more tempted to click play if it was only 45. It's more of a long form enticing, but you guys think it's valuable content that should be left?
I do. That's the best part, really, I think.
Yeah, it depends on like what is the value that someone's getting out of it, and live is always interaction with the host, time constraints, and this is different.
Also, I mean, like you're congregating a bunch of people that have a common interest, so seeing like, oh, somebody asked a question and I know who that is, or oh, that person's question sounds like their channel might be interesting, or something like that. You know, I think it's kind of cool how people end up networking in the comments from a live event. So I don't think you could take that away. You can take it away, but I don't think you should, because I think it's kind of cool that you're offering that as a venue.
And that's a great point. I do that myself, even just watching here, even though I'm reading the chat right now and we're not taking these questions necessarily, but I'm recognizing names, I'm seeing people, and it's like there's a little bit of relationship building going on, even though we're not really talking, right? So yeah, that's a good point.
I have another question, because I noticed like everyone has like a live channel, and when do you use a live channel versus scheduling an event? Because so far I've only scheduled events.
So the live now is what the page is called. Every YouTube channel that has live enabled gets this page. It's basically a URL/live. And the idea behind this is that it's that one URL that you can easily share, you can easily send out. And let's say you have a reoccurring show, it's the same link every week. You can just be like, here's the link to my live show. It's every Wednesday, it's every Tuesday, Thursday, whatever it is, but it gives you the same URL. And I hate to compare this, but it's the same thing with Twitch, right? It's same as your YouTube channel. You have the same link for every time you want to send somebody to your page. So that's what the Live Now page is designed for. Also, it's supposed to be a one-click stream, right? So once you set up your software with that stream key and authorization and everything, every week, all you have to do is change your title. If you're going to even change your title, even if you use the same title every time, you literally all have to do is push a button and it'll start streaming. Whereas when you have an event, you get a new stream key every time, unless you make a custom key, and in which case it is the same every week, but then that's more work on your part to build that the first time. But yeah, the whole idea behind Live Now is so that it's really quick and easy to start streaming on the get-go. Very little back-end work from stream to stream. The difference also is that every time you stream with the Live Now page, it then cuts your VOD off as a new VOD.
Video
all
on
your
demand,
stats,
right?
Yeah, video on demand, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
As a YouTube video, and all your stats start from zero, because all the stats that happened with the live page during your live stream are actually on that live page. That live page is actually treated as its own video, and so you'll notice if you do, let's say you do 10 or 12 streams on that Live Now page, you'll see that one quote unquote video continue to get more views, more likes, and more comments, because they all congregate on that page. And then when you're done streaming, a new VOD is created from zero.
As a separate video.
As a separate video, right. But when you make an event, the event is that you streamed it live for the X amount of hours, and then it now is a VOD, but all that information stays with it.
And do you suggest like setting that to go unlisted afterwards and then publish it after it's, and then would you? Yeah.
So if you're going to make a VOD or you're going to keep the video on demand, keep the video of your live stream, depending on how long it is, I would recommend making it unlisted right away. And there's actually a checkbox for that. And the only reason why I suggest that is because it takes a while for the HD version to be rendered. And as soon as you're done live streaming, it goes over, it'll go public within a few minutes, and it'll be that 360 version. So it might be a turnoff for some of your viewers to see that video, and there's no quality options, right? They're like, oh, this looks like garbage and I can't change it. So they may not watch, right? That was always kind of my thought process behind it. I also know a lot of people, a lot of daily streamers that they don't even think about it. It goes up to YouTube and it'll encode when it encodes, and they don't think twice about it, because it is an extra step that you have to remember to make it public and publish it. So plus you have options to add cards or add ads or insert other things later on, versus if you're like literally like, I don't care, I just want it to go up on the channel as content later, then you let it go public and it is what it is. But if you want some control behind the scenes, add some things, change some things, make it unlisted right away is probably the best thing to do. But like I said, use that checkbox, because then it'll never go public, and you never have to worry about it going back and forth and not hitting your sub box and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good tip. Now, there's one thing. I started using an encoder versus using the simple Google Hangouts mode a couple weeks ago, but I feel like I'm flying blind. I'm not sure what I should be looking at. Like, there's the encoder page that shows like input and output, but it seems like it's really zoomed in on my on the work I'm doing. I can't really tell what is going on in the whole frame. So when I have someone previewing it and looking at the watch page while I'm going, that's helpful. But when I was doing Google Hangouts, I could see on my screen what I was doing when I was doing it. Is there a way to preview like that when using an encoder? It depends
on your encoder. So the software that I'm using currently is called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. And you have all your controls, and then I have my preview window. So, and I can actually work in the preview window and move assets around, size them, all that stuff. And that's what I see. And then when I hit go, that's what gets sent to YouTube. So it just depends on your encoder that you're using. If you don't have that option and you don't see it up in the menus of like, preview or that kind of thing, it might just be a limitation of the software you're using.
Yeah, I'm using Adobe Flash Live Encoder, so I haven't messed with it too much because it's working, and I'm afraid of messing it up. But I think I need to do some more tests, and see if I can see that in real time, because that's I wouldn't want to do that without a helper, just because I'm flying blind. I don't know what's going out.
Yeah, I'd recommend checking out OBS. At least it's free. It's open source. There isn't a whole lot of support on it. That's my only complaint about it. Is the only support system is a forum, because it is open source, because it's just kind of like a side project for people. And now granted, it's that kind of like the standard for live streaming in gaming and whatnot. Like most gamers you either use OBS or they use XSplit. XSplit is a monthly paid service. OBS is free, but XSplit I think has more service or more support. So it's kind of two different models. But OBS would be worth at least checking out. And at least I can help you. I can help you with that. I can help you get through and build your assets and show you how it works. Because that's what I use on a regular basis.
I downloaded it, but I was confused, and I liked how YouTube had that, like, you just download a little file and you plop that, you open that up in the Flash, and it's got all your settings there. I just felt a little safer doing that, not knowing why it was working. It's just like, oh, it works! Yay! I'm not going to touch anything.
I got you.
Yeah. That's kind of like a beef I with most live streaming software platforms. It seems like they're all like a steep learning curve. I don't know of any other than like Google Hangouts on Air, which is like probably the easiest one I know of, just to jump in and start streaming. As soon as you get outside of that, they all seem to like, you need to know what bit rates are and encoder settings and how to link up RTM streams and all that type of stuff. I'm like, so I feel you.
Yeah, YouTube actually has, because again, they're really, Live's been around for a long time on YouTube specifically, but it's becoming more and more predominant. And now with YouTube Gaming, a separate whole website and app, they're really pushing the live stream. So there's a lot of actually information, live FAQs and broadcast of bitrate recommendations, and even like a checklist of like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? So there's a lot of information there in the help, like the help section of YouTube. That once you kind of start clicking down the lines of live, there's actually quite a bit of information there. Recommended bit rates. If you're doing custom RTMP settings and whatnot, there's actually all the recommended settings. So they've gotten a lot better with helping that. Even in August when YouTube Gaming launched, there was only maybe half that information. They've added a lot since then.
I had another question, because I know you guys use different platforms. Like, I know Amy is a Periscope queen, and you do YouTube and Twitch. What's why would you use something besides YouTube? Is there a reason why you'd use Twitch, or why you'd use Periscope, or why you'd use Blab, or why you would use Ustream?
Or YouNow? People in the chat are asking about YouNow also.
I appreciate you calling me the Periscope queen.
You are.
I definitely do not even come close to rating to that, but I also am heavily questioning it. I have been doing a live show on Sundays called Scope Past Sunday with two other friends of mine, and we kind of just closed out the season of that. And we're not quite sure what the direction's going to be, because quite frankly, I'm looking at Periscope and it's sort of like not really where it used to be, and I don't know what would have to happen for it to sort of like get revived. And live for me it's not a struggle. It's just that I am very structured with my content, so I just don't live isn't always the best for me. And I actually think I should be doing YouTube live much more, because clearly this is an audience that's tuning in and would like to hear from me more often, and I should be going to where they are, not where I want them to go. But I do like tools for different reasons. I think Periscope was pretty cool. I just like that it's mobile. Honestly, I think it's fantastic that you can just stream mobile like that, and that it's connected to Twitter. Anytime something's linked with an existing social network, where I've worked my butt off to make Twitter awesome, and I'm still trying to do that as people continue to question it. But I also like Blab because it's so freaking simple to get people to in one room on live stream to collaborate. Like, I have no idea how Tim is doing this right now. Like,
well, people in the chat are asking for a tutorial.
I think about it every week. I'm like, I don't know how he's doing this. This is incredible stuff. But I also, think Google Hangouts, although much probably simpler, because I think I know how to do it. It's incredible how Blab's made that even more simple. But I think it just depends on what you're trying to do. but I do think that YouTube Live for people that already have an existing following on YouTube makes a ton of sense. The other platforms are great for people that are up and coming and really just trying to network.
I think that's big. Amy said it right there with Periscope. The big thing with Periscope is it's mobile. It's in your hand. And obviously Twitter owns Periscope, but it's kind of like that in the moment right now. This is what's going on. As far as I know, Periscope keeps your broadcast for X amount of hours, X amount of days, whatever it is, and then it's gone. And unless you save the file, but even then, if you save the video, your chat doesn't go with it. Like it's very much like this is what's going on right now. So maybe great for the Q&A. Like, hey guys, we're in the airport waiting for this. Let's do a quick Q&A, right? You do a quick little 15-minute Q&A or something, just kind of killing time. It's an interaction tool. Again, you've been working on your Twitter platform. You've got your followers going on. You answer questions maybe there. Now you can do a live one, right? Because everyone wants that live interaction. We're in that world of now. We're in the world of now, right? And attention spans are the most valuable asset right now, is catching your viewers' attention. So if they see that alert go off on Periscope, or they see your tweet go out that, hey, I'm live for the next 15 minutes, let's do a Q&A. And I like what Amy said about the targeted Q&A, right? So the Ask Me Anythings are great in theory, as far as like, yeah, ask me whatever you want, right? Oh, what's that question I've been having? If you're like, hey, let's talk about watercolors for 15 minutes, right? Or let's talk about, different kinds of canvas, whatever, right? Very specific targeted. It's like, oh, I had a question about that, or I would love to know more about watercolor. Like, I'd love to tune in for that, right? Whereas the other platforms we mentioned, again, very focused on what your idea is. So it sounds like Amy has a weekly show, right? And she's been using Periscope, but she loses all of that content every week, and there's no way to really go back to the previous episode. Whereas like something like YouTube would probably be more beneficial for that, because again, that gets cut into a VOD. I'm actually asking about the comments right now. I pinged a few of my friends because I went back and looked. I don't see the comments on a lot of VODs. So I wonder if they changed that, or it might be just a bug. But in theory, all the comments would save over, and that becomes a reoccurring thing for Amy's audience to look at. I would definitely recommend Lindsay looking into Twitch, because a few months ago they launched their creative genre, their creative platform. And so traditionally Twitch is for video games, and it would say, Lindsay's playing Call of Duty, and it's linked. Everything's linked. So your channel gets linked. The Call of Duty gets linked to the channel of Call of Duty. Well, creative is now one of those types of things that you can do. And it's for you. It's for art. It's for different kinds of talent. I've seen people do like voice acting. I've seen people do like audition, like reading lines. And it's the same concept. You have a chat room. You're live, but you're doing something quote unquote creative versus a traditional playing a video game. So it might be something worth. I didn't even think about this until just today when we started talking about this. That might be something worth you looking into. The difference, though, is you'll be basically starting from scratch. You'll be trying to expand your audience, right? I'm sure a lot of people you mentioned on your YouTube channel, they'll cross over, because most people have either the Twitch app or they've heard of Twitch. But you'll be reaching for a new audience, and it might be a great crossover, because there's already people there looking for those creative live streams. They find you, like, oh, who is this? And they go over to your YouTube channel. Holy crap! So you have, there might be some great cross-pollination there. So it just depends on whether or not you want to attempt to do that, or if you want to continue building the audience you already have and creating more content for them. You might be able to do a Tuesday over here and a Thursday over here. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So
do you think that Twitch will break out of the gaming thing though?
I don't think they will. The creative was a kind of a step in that direction, but it's still in the realm of very niche. It's very niche. I mean, realistically, it's games, and they don't even promote the creative that much. They have a separate site that you just don't see unless you dig a little bit for that creative vertical. I think because of YouNow and because of Periscope and Blab and even YouTube for that matter, because YouTube, I mean, there's like full-on broadcasts. Like there's full-on TV shows being done on YouTube on a daily, weekly basis. I think Twitch is so popular and is what it is because it's so focused on one thing.
Yeah.
I can't see them changing. I mean, they might just to say, oh, well, now you can do this just as an a la carte, as an extra bonus. But I think the gaming thing, and the reason why Amazon bought them in the first place was because they're killing it in that market. And now YouTube's trying to, compete and catch up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else last minute there, Amy or Lindsay? Sorry.
I'm just looking at my notes. No, I think that's pretty much it. Is there, I would like to go back to Clintus and say, if you were me, would you use the live channel, the live now, or because you can't schedule things on the live channel, right? You just have to say, be here at this amount of time. And
yeah, not yet. They're working on it where you'll be able to, because again, the whole idea is that here's the one live page, and then you can schedule in the future, they're planning on, you'll schedule an event on that page.
Okay.
So eventually it'll be the perfect storm where you can say, hey guys, meet me here at this live page. And then when you go to that live page, it'll say next event or something like that. So I would say, because you have a weekly show and you're possibly looking to maybe add another day, I would highly recommend sticking with events. And maybe it's a recurring thing. So your audience kind of already knows. You may not have to schedule it a whole week in advance. You might be able to be okay with just a couple of days or a day before, 24 hours before. Because when you do that, it's going to show up in their sub box. So
yeah, I usually do like 2 days before because I like Amy, I want to be structured. I do the painting ahead of time. I don't want there to be, I know it's a pet peeve, and it's a pet peeve of me. If I see a 3-hour Ustream that's been uploaded to YouTube, I'm very unlikely to watch it, even though this person might be a delightful person. I just don't have that kind of time. So I want to paint it first, get over any obstacles, find any troubleshooting points that people might get stuck on, because I got stuck on it the first time. And then I noticed if it took me 2 hours to paint the first time, I can paint it in an hour the second time, because I'm not going to have to stop and think and wonder. So it can be pretty packed with content, even though it's a longer form broadcast. So I usually go about 2 or 3 days in advance, or
yeah, that's fine.
I don't have it prepared that far in advance. But yeah, that's a good point. 2 days in advance. That's great.
The other thing,
I would go to I'd stick with events for now until that live events, like the events merge with live. Go with the events, because like you do have a very structured show, so it makes total sense to do that. And also because each show is a topic, you're doing something specific, those VODs then become relevant afterwards as well. If it was more like every week you're just doing a Q&A, or you're just kind of hanging out, like then the live page would be perfect for you, because it's just there's no structure needed.
Now, if somebody happens upon the live page while I'm on live, like a live event is live, would that show up there, or would it?
No,
just be like a little in-video programming blurb saying,
It'll just say this broadcast is offline. But the only time someone's going to know that is if it's not linked anywhere on your page. They just have to know that live link, which some people might. But if you're advertising your event link, then that shouldn't be a problem. Also, I also recommend when you're setting up your event, on the advanced tab, bottom left corner, there is a checkbox to promote your live stream when you're live across your channel. So it's like a little card that pops up when you're live on all your videos. So I highly recommend selecting that.
Now that's like the in-video programming that comes out from the corner. I noticed it does not work if you have cards enabled.
You have to you can't be featuring a video. So you have to uncheck the featured video while you're live, because that replaces it. But if you have a video that's already featured, it won't replace it. It like hits the wall and says, "Oh, you're already featured in a video."
Okay, in a card, if I have a featured video, that's
and I can show you offline. I can show you how to do it. I mean, it's if you go to your channel and you go featured content, you have to remove whatever content you have there being featured, and so that there's nothing being featured. And then when you go live, it becomes featured.
It's not in a YouTube card for the video. It's in a setting for the channel that you're featuring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you how to do that. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Oh, it was helpful for you guys. I know it was helpful for me. Just thinking through it, like I do live streaming here, doing this, obviously, the video entrepreneurs thing, but I also live stream twice a week on my family's channel and at youtube.com/movies, shameless plug, but with my wife, and then we do it on Tuesdays, so tonight, and then Thursdays with our whole family, and we just love the interaction and the engagement with people. So those of you guys who are creators thinking about doing that, love to hear from you guys in the comments below this video, of the replay even of what value you get out of it, and any tips and ideas, suggestions you have as you listen to everything we've talked about here. That would be super helpful. And if this is your first time here, we'd love to have you subscribe to this channel. We're all about helping you guys grow your YouTube audiences. You can catch the audio version of this show as a podcast. It's on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud. Links to all those are below. And also subscribe to the other people down. The links to their channels are down in the description of this video as well. You will, subscribe to Lindsay's channel to follow her live streams of painting, see exactly how she does it. Maybe Amy is going to start considering doing some more. Subscribe to her channel so you can see how she does it. Clintus is doing tons of live streaming, so you subscribe to his channel. And I think Steve's been stroking his chin, considering all of this very deeply. And he will be live streaming as well. So you can find their channels linked up below. So go check all of them out. And thanks for hanging out, guys. And subscribe. And how do I close these up again? I always forget. I was like, how do I close up live streams? But that's the nice thing about live streaming. You just go for it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it's valuable for you. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you guys again next week for episode number 10 of Video Entrepreneurs. See you then. Bye.